I'm going to sound like the worst person alive here, but I need honest opinions because I'm losing my mind. My wife Emma gave birth to our daughter Lily 7 weeks ago, and everything has changed between us. Not in a normal new parent way, in a way that makes me feel like I'm living with a complete stranger who hates me. Before I get destroyed in the comments, let me explain what's happening. Emma and I have been together for 5 years, married for 2. We planned this baby. We were excited about becoming parents, and our relationship was solid. Emma was always affectionate, funny, and we genuinely enjoyed each other's company. During her pregnancy, she was glowing and happy. We'd spend hours talking about baby names, decorating the nursery, and planning our future as a family. The birth was traumatic. Emma was in labor for 18 hours and ended up needing an emergency C-section. Lily was healthy, but Emma had complications afterward. Severe bleeding that required her to stay in the hospital for 5 extra days. I barely left her side during that time, sleeping in the uncomfortable hospital chair and helping with everything I could. That's when I first noticed something was different. Emma barely wanted to hold Lily. The nurses kept bringing the baby over for feeding and skin-to-skin contact, but Emma would look at Lily like she was a stranger. When I tried to talk to Emma about how beautiful our daughter was, or how proud I was of her for getting through such a difficult delivery, she'd just nod and stare at the wall. I figured it was exhaustion and pain from the surgery. Who wouldn't be out of it after going through something like that? But we've been home for 6 weeks now, and things have gotten worse, not better. Emma takes care of Lily's basic needs. She's been breastfeeding, but it's mechanical, like she's going through the motions without any emotional connection. She changes diapers, burps her, puts her down for naps, but there's no warmth there. She holds Lily like she's handling a fragile package that might break, not like she's holding her own child. She doesn't talk to the baby, doesn't sing to her, doesn't do any of those natural mom things I expected to see. And with me, it's like I don't exist. Emma speaks to me only when necessary, and even then it's short responses. Lily needs more diapers. The pediatrician appointment is Tuesday. I'm going to take a shower. That's about the extent of our conversations now. I've tried everything I can think of. I cook her favorite meals, and she picks at them without comment. I suggest we watch a movie together after Lily goes to sleep, and she says she's too tired, then goes to bed at 8 p.m. I tell her I love her, and she doesn't respond. I ask how she's feeling, and she says fine in a tone that clearly means the conversation is over. The physical affection is completely gone. We haven't been intimate since before Lily was born, which I totally understand. She's recovering from major surgery and caring for a newborn. But we don't even hug anymore. If I try to put my arm around her or hold her hand, she pulls away like my touch burns her. Last week I kissed her forehead while she was feeding Lily, and she actually flinched. I'm trying to be understanding. I know having a baby is a huge adjustment, and Emma's body has been through tremendous changes. I've been doing everything I can to support her. I handle the middle of the night diaper changes and help with burping so she can get back to sleep faster after feeding sessions. I do the housework. I took 2 weeks off work initially, and now I'm working from home as much as possible to help out. But I feel like I'm living with a robot version of my wife. The Emma I married was warm and loving and engaged with life. This person barely acknowledges that Lily and I exist beyond meeting basic obligations. Yesterday, something happened that really shook me. I came home from a quick grocery run and found Emma sitting on the couch staring at Lily, who was in her bouncy seat. Not playing with her or talking to her, just staring with this blank expression on her face. When I asked if everything was okay, Emma said, "I don't know what I'm supposed to feel when I look at her." That comment has been haunting me for 24 hours. What kind of mother says that about her own baby? I suggested maybe Emma should talk to her doctor about how she's been feeling, thinking maybe this could be postpartum depression. She got angry for the first time since Lily was born and told me to stop trying to diagnose her, that she's fine and just tired like any new mom would be. But this isn't normal tired. I have friends with babies and their wives didn't become completely different people afterward. They were exhausted and overwhelmed, sure, but they still acted like themselves. They still showed love for their babies and maintained some connection with their husbands. I feel guilty even typing this, but I'm starting to resent coming home. My own house feels cold and unwelcoming. Emma acts like I'm bothering her just by existing in the same space. I miss my wife desperately, but she's physically right there, which makes it worse somehow. And I'm worried about Lily. Babies need emotional connection, not just physical care. What if Emma's detachment is affecting our daughter's development? What if Lily grows up feeling unwanted because her mom can't bond with her? I love Emma, and I want to help her through whatever this is, but I don't know how much more I can take. I feel like I'm failing as a husband because I can't figure out how to reach her. I'm exhausted from trying to be patient and understanding while getting absolutely nothing back. The thought that keeps creeping into my head is whether Lily and I would be better off somewhere else. Maybe staying with my parents for a while, giving Emma space to figure out whatever she's going through without feeling pressure by our presence. Or maybe something more permanent if this is just who Emma is now. I know how that sounds. What kind of man even considers leaving his wife when she just had his baby? But I can't live like this indefinitely. I can't raise Lily in a house where her mother treats her like an obligation and her father like an intruder. So am I the complete jerk here for thinking about leaving? Should I just keep trying to be patient and hope Emma eventually comes back to us? Or is there something I should be doing differently to help her through this? I'm lost, and I need advice before I make a decision I might regret forever. Update. 3 days later, the response to my post has been overwhelming. Thank you to everyone who took the time to comment, especially those who shared their own experiences with postpartum depression and postpartum psychosis. I learned a lot from reading your stories. A lot of you were pretty harsh about me even considering leaving, and I get it. Reading my post back, I can see how it came across. But several people also pointed out that what I described doesn't sound like normal postpartum adjustment and that I was right to be concerned. After reading the comments, I realized I needed to take action instead of just waiting and hoping things would get better on their own. First, I called Emma's obstetrician and explained what was happening. The nurse said they hear about situations like this more often than people realize and asked me to bring Emma in for an appointment. She said the key was getting Emma there without making her feel ambushed or criticized. I also called my mom and asked her to come stay with us for a few days. I told her Emma was having a hard time adjusting and we could use some extra help. My mom has always liked Emma, and she immediately said she'd drive up from Phoenix. Getting Emma to the doctor appointment was tricky. I waited until she seemed relatively calm and told her I was worried about her recovery from the C-section because she seemed to be in pain and having trouble sleeping. I suggested we go in just to make sure everything was healing properly. She agreed, which surprised me. The appointment was yesterday. I stayed in the waiting room with Lily while Emma saw the doctor. After about 30 minutes, the nurse came out and asked me to join them. Emma was crying when I walked into the room. Actually crying. The first real emotion I'd seen from her in weeks. The doctor explained that Emma had been experiencing symptoms of postpartum depression and anxiety, but there were also some indicators of something called postpartum psychosis. I never heard of postpartum psychosis before, but the doctor said it's different from postpartum depression. Women with postpartum psychosis can experience detachment from reality, confusion about their feelings toward their baby, and emotional numbness. In severe cases, they can have thoughts about harming themselves or their baby. The doctor asked Emma directly if she'd had any thoughts about hurting herself or Lily. Emma nodded and said sometimes she wondered if Lily would be better off without her, and that she'd thought about just leaving and never coming back. She said she felt like she was watching her life from outside her body, like none of it was real. Hearing Emma say those things was terrifying. I had no idea she'd been having thoughts about leaving or that she felt so disconnected from everything. The doctor wanted Emma to start medication immediately and also recommended she see a psychiatrist who specializes in postpartum mental health issues. She said with proper treatment, most women recover completely, but it's crucial to get help quickly. Emma agreed to everything, which was a relief. She also apologized to me for how she'd been acting. She said she knew something was wrong, but couldn't figure out what or how to explain it. She said it felt like there was a wall between her and the rest of the world that she couldn't break through. We came home, and Emma actually held Lily for more than just feeding time. She didn't transform back in her old self instantly, but I could see small changes. She made eye contact with me when we talked. She asked how I'd been handling everything. She said Lily was beautiful, which was the first positive thing she'd said about our daughter since the birth. My mom arrived this morning, and she's been great. She's not overwhelming Emma with questions or advice, just quietly helping with housework and giving both of us a chance to rest. Emma even smiled while my mom was playing peekaboo with Lily. I know we have a long road ahead of us. The doctor said it could take weeks or even months for Emma to feel completely like herself again. But knowing there's a medical reason for what's been happening makes everything feel more manageable. I feel guilty for thinking about leaving instead of recognizing that Emma was sick. Several commenters pointed out that I wouldn't consider leaving if Emma had any other medical condition, and they were right. Postpartum psychosis is an illness, not a character flaw or a choice Emma made. Thank you to everyone who pushed me to get Emma medical help instead of just waiting it out. I think you might have saved my family. Update. 2 weeks later, things are slowly getting better. Emma has been taking her medication for 2 weeks now and seeing the psychiatrist twice a week. The changes aren't dramatic yet, but they're definitely there. Emma is starting to show more interest in Lily. She talks to her during diaper changes now, and yesterday, I caught her singing a lullaby during feeding time. When Lily smiles, Emma smiles back instead of just staring blankly. She's still not as naturally affectionate with Lily as I expected a new mom to be. But the psychiatrist says that's normal, and the bonding will come as Emma continues to heal. Our relationship is improving too. Emma has been more communicative about how she's feeling and what she needs from me. She explained that during the worst of it, everything felt overwhelming and my attempts to help or show affection felt like additional pressure she couldn't handle. She said it wasn't personal, but her brain wasn't processing emotions normally. We've started having actual conversations again. Nothing deep yet, but we talk about our days, make plans for the weekend, discuss practical things about taking care of Lily. Emma even laughed at something stupid I said yesterday, which felt like a huge victory. The psychiatrist has been helping me understand what Emma went through and how I can best support her recovery. Apparently, what I interpreted as coldness toward me was actually Emma's brain protecting itself from feeling too much when she was already overwhelmed. The doctor said my instinct to keep trying to connect with Emma was right, even when she couldn't respond the way I wanted to. My mom stayed for 10 days and was incredibly helpful. She never made Emma feel judged or broken, just provided practical support and gave us both space to start healing. Before she left, she told Emma that she was proud of her for getting help and that asking for treatment showed strength, not weakness. Emma's parents came to visit last weekend. Her mom mentioned that she'd struggled with some difficult feelings after Emma's brother was born 30 years ago, though she didn't go into detail. She reassured Emma that having a hard time after childbirth doesn't mean you're a bad mother or that there's something permanently wrong with you. I'm still working from home most days, but Emma is starting to feel more confident taking care of Lily on her own for short periods. Yesterday, she took Lily for a walk around the neighborhood by herself, which was the first time she'd left the house alone with the baby. The psychiatrist wants to continue with therapy for at least another month and the medication for several more months. Emma is okay with that plan. She said she's starting to feel more like herself, but wants to make sure she's completely stable before making any changes to her treatment. I've learned a lot through this experience, mainly that postpartum mental health issues are way more common and varied than I realized. The psychiatrist said about 15% of new mothers experience some form of postpartum depression or anxiety, and postpartum psychosis affects about 1 to 2 women out of every 1,000 births. But most people don't talk about it, so partners and families don't know what to look for. I'm grateful every day that I posted here and got pushed to seek medical help instead of just trying to wait it out or making a drastic decision like leaving. Emma and Lily both deserve better than that. And I'm glad I didn't give up on my family when things got difficult. We're not completely back to normal yet, and a psychiatrist says it might take months for Emma to feel totally like her old self. But we're moving the right direction, and that's what matters. Final update. 2 months later, I want to give one final update since so many people have been following our story and offering support. Emma is doing so much better. The medication and therapy have made a huge difference, and she's been able to reduce her therapy sessions to once a week. She's planning to continue with medication for at least 6 more months, but her psychiatrist is very optimistic about her continued recovery. The biggest change is in how Emma interacts with Lily. The bonding that was missing in those first weeks has developed naturally as Emma's mental health improved. She talks to Lily constantly now, makes funny faces to get her to smile, and genuinely seems to enjoy spending time with her. Yesterday, I found Emma showing Lily picture books and explaining what all the animals were, even though Lily is obviously too young to understand. It was exactly the kind of natural mom behavior I've been hoping to see. Emma also told me something that really put the whole experience in perspective. She said that during the worst weeks, when she was looking at Lily, she could logically understand that this was her baby and she was supposed to love her, but she couldn't actually feel anything. She described it as being like looking at a stranger's child. You might think they're cute, but there's no emotional connection. She said the medication didn't just help with her mood, it helped her brain start processing emotions normally again. Our marriage is stronger now, too. Going through something this challenging together and coming out the other side has made us both more aware of how much we mean to each other. Emma has thanked me multiple times for not giving up on her when she couldn't be the wife and mother she wanted to be. I've told her that getting sick wasn't her fault and that supporting her through it was just part of loving her. We've also had honest conversations about what we both learned from this experience. Emma now knows the warning signs to watch for if we have another baby, and she's committed to getting help immediately if she starts feeling disconnected again. I know not to assume that emotional distance means someone doesn't care. Sometimes it means they're struggling with something bigger than they can handle alone. Lily is thriving. She's almost 5 months old now and hitting all her developmental milestones. She's a happy, social baby who smiles easily and loves attention from both Emma and me. There don't seem to be any lasting effects from those early weeks when Emma was struggling to bond with her dot. Emma's obstetrician told us that women who experience postpartum psychosis have a higher risk of it recurring with future pregnancies, but that doesn't mean it will definitely happen again. If we decide to have another baby, we'll work closely with her medical team to monitor her mental health from the beginning. For now, we're just enjoying being a family. Emma is talking about going back to work part-time when Lily is 6 months old. We're planning a small vacation next month, just a long weekend at the beach, but it feels good to be making plans for the future again. I keep thinking back to that day when I was seriously considering leaving. I'm so grateful that I reached out for advice instead of just acting on those feelings. Emma needed support and medical care, not abandonment. Lily needed both her parents to fight for their family, not for one of them to give up when things got hard. To anyone reading this who might be going through something similar, postpartum mental health issues are real medical conditions that need professional treatment. They're not character flaws or signs of weakness. If your partner seems like a different person after having a baby, especially if they seem detached from the baby or from reality, please encourage them to talk to their doctor immediately. And to new fathers who might be feeling overwhelmed or rejected by their partner's behavior after childbirth, try to remember that she's probably not choosing to act differently. Her brain chemistry might literally be working against her. Get help, be patient, and don't make permanent decisions based on temporary circumstances. Thank you to everyone who shared their experiences and advice. This community helped save my family, and I'll always be grateful for that. Emma says hi and wants everyone to know that she's doing great and that getting help was the best decision she ever made. We're going to be okay.